All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Show. I am Jason Inman, and I am joined by the amazing Sal from Comic Pop. I pointed this way, even though on your screen he's over here. Sal, you look like you're in a warehouse somewhere.
I do, yeah. We added we found, well, I realized how big the studio was. I'm like, I have all these cool walls. I'm gonna do something with one of them. So I made this wall our brick wall industrial kind of area. It's just wallpaper,
It looks good. It actually looks
but
good.
it looks good. Thank you.
I mean, you have this office, man. I think you should just have different walls of different textures. One wall should be like the Borg texture.
Oh yes. No, we do need an interior spaceship texture. That
Yeah.
sounds like
And then you
that sounds
need
the next step.
you need somebody to make you a high res photo
Mhm.
of the inside of the TARDIS, but where it's scaled back so it looks like you could walk through that wall.
Right? Oh, I love that idea.
You can hire me for interior design anytime, my friend.
Okay. I didn't realize you. I didn't know you had a background.
No,
in
as you
interior
can see,
design.
you look at my background office. We've been rearranging things.
I've noticed that.
So there's
yeah.
boxes and a pocket, but we have that spinner rack from Kickstarter. I don't know if you see that right there, back there.
Yes.
I bought that sucker. It's my first chance to ever have a spinner rack, and I'm so happy.
How does it run? I mean, I know
It's
that you backed
great,
it, but
my friend. It is so smooth, and it doesn't hit any of the weight or anything like that. It runs really smooth, and so it's great.
Oh,
They're
need
gonna
to get
eventually release it. I know where you can just buy it anytime. I bought it through the Kickstarter because it was $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be $450 without the Kickstarter. It was I got mine for $350. Excuse me.
Oh, nice.
So.
I should have got it then.
Yeah. It was sort of my birthday present to myself because I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So let's do this. I know we talked about a lot of stuff, but this is a Saturday morning show, everybody, and this is the show that I do because if you don't know, I have a full-time job now, and I can't talk on YouTube all the time. So, we just talk about stuff, and we just put a theme on top. It doesn't matter if we don't talk about the theme. This is more conversational. That's why I don't care what the set looks like in the background. It's about Saturday morning, and it's about us talking, and it's about good friends, and really quickly, before we get to the main conversation, which is talking about Thomas Wayne, which is why I'm so glad that Sal is here, I want to remind everybody that this show happens because of the Patreon, which is at patreon.com/Jawiin. I'm going to bring up a graphic, but it's going to show you the title screen real quick because I'm real good at OBS. Oh, yeah, baby.
There is a big learning curve with this annoying, temperamental, but free
program. So patreon.com/Jawiin. We have an after show right after this. You can go there directly. It's only for the patrons. It's at patrons at any level. And then really quickly, I have a Kickstarter coming up very soon for Science. You can find that at sciencecomicbook.com on September 12th. And our artist for Science is named Des Pittman, and she will be at Rose City Comic-Con in Portland, Oregon, I think this weekend or next weekend. I don't know when the hell Rose City Comic-Con is. But she's going to be I don't know when it is. It's Artist Alley AA04. So go see her, get some science secrets. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Oh, nice.
Now back to this stuff. All right. Sal, I saw somebody in the comments said, who is Sal? I think we should probably get to that. Sal, how would you best describe? I would call yourself as a comic book expert and just all around YouTube friendly man.
Thank you very much. I'll take that moniker. I find that I'm often humbled by how much more our audience knows than me every time that we do something either live or make anything. But we over here on my channel or over there on my channel, we're on Jawiin right now.
Yeah, that's right.
But over on my channel, you can find us chatting, myself and three other people chatting about comics pretty much 5 days a week. And we'll do reviews, recaps, and discussions, and mostly just analysis of your favorite and least favorite comics out there.
What's probably the biggest piece of crap you've ever read over there? And I don't mean to get you to demean people and stuff like that, but
no, totally.
We all have this comic. We all have one comic book where we're like, oh, mama, it's so bad. So
it's funny. We have a show dedicated just for that called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is very similar to a show on Red Letter Media called The Best of the Worst, but don't tell them that. And it's basically we take three comics that are from my long box and we just compare them and then determine which one's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this week we did a book that made me so mad. And it's a book that I'd been wanting to read, but just was always I never had time, but it was always just sitting there. And it's called The Heckler from DC Comics.
I don't know what that is. Is it a weird ripoff of The Creeper?
It's like a hodgepodge of Bugs Bunny, Harley Quinn, the Creeper, and Freakazoid, made by Keith Giffen.
And it's bad? Keith Giffen's usually good.
He's fantastic. He's a great artist and writer. He drew and wrote or he created the story and he drew the book.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks fantastic. It has this amazing gritty 80s like Vertigo kind of feel to it. But it's so off the wall and so like deliberately obtuse that like there's no penetration point, and so I could not get into it. Everything about it was just confounding. So like, I love it because every week I challenge myself to find like the worst thing, and the worst of the worst goes into a thing called we call the wrong box, where like it's just a collection of just the worst stuff. Like the Curse of the Spawn #1 was the book that made us invent the concept in the first place.
Oh wow, it's funny because I used to own the action figure that was the Spawn from Curse of the Spawn #1, where he has the bone wings, and
I just thought it was like a cool
design. It was the coolest looking action figure of all time.
You are not wrong. I desperately would love to get a Curse of the Spawn figure. I will say, in Curse of the Spawn #1, they introduce a character who gets killed within like 3 pages of introduction. He's this big hodgepodge of 90s awesome demon raw coolness called the Desiccator. And I was like, there's no way there's a Desiccator action figure. Sure enough, there is a Desiccator action figure. I bought it. He is my unofficial mascot for the wrong box. And I was like, I'm going to take him out. I'm going to put him in like a glass jar and like affix him to the box. I'm such a nerd when it comes to comics and action figures. I couldn't bring myself to take him out of the box. It's just sitting there.
But sometimes I've found, as I've gotten a little bit older, I have found that sometimes certain action figures just looks so good in the packaging, and I'm a, like, you can tell, like I'm a big take him out of the box. I finally found this Cyclops. I've been hunting for him for a year. Finally got him. He sits on my desk here. But I have these Darkwing Duck action figures, and I think they look so cool in the box that I don't want to take him out of it.
Yeah, it's hard to because they have their own little like display. They have a backdrop. When you remove them, then it's like, okay, well now it's just Darkwing Duck in space. Like I don't know how to contextualize him. By the way, kudos on getting those amazing figures. I see you've got Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, I do.
Were those the same figures that they made for like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? And
yes,
Tailspin
they are.
as
They're
well?
the Funkos. Yeah, I'm hanging them up, so I've already got some damage on here, so people are probably like really pissed at me, but I don't care.
Oh, sure. I gotta pick those up.
I bought actually all the new DuckTales action figures as well, the brand new ones as well.
Nice.
I love. We are 7 minutes into this video, and we have not said one word about Thomas Wayne. So there are so many. I'm looking forward to the future YouTube comments of people being like, "God, who the fuck are these idiots?" Yes, I cuss now. I don't care. Let's talk about this, Sal. Okay, so there is a Joker movie that I don't know anybody wants it. Do you want a Joker movie?
Straight up, no.
Yeah, right.
I didn't ask for it, and when they kept like teasing it or threatening it, I mean, I didn't want Joker in Suicide Squad. I'm one of the people who was like, when they were like really hyping up Joker in Suicide Squad, I'm like, make it about the Suicide Squad. I feel like Joker would kind of take away from it. And when I saw like how much effort and overdevelopment went into that character, I'm like, okay, you don't even get the Joker. Like you don't even care.
Yeah.
And so it just and when they were like, okay, that didn't work. We're gonna do a totally different Joker, and maybe it'll be in a different universe. Like it's like Sony saying we're gonna make Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Like I don't care about any of those things. I don't want those things. I don't care like who's making it. I know Rob from Comics Explained was telling me, he's like, I am so hyped for a Martin Scorsese Joker movie, and I'm like, why? Like, is Martin Scorsese an amazing filmmaker?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he get the Joker? I don't care. Like, I don't want him to get the Joker. He's not. I don't think his passion is in comics.
Well, the funny thing about it is that the Joaquin Phoenix is not the Martin Scorsese Joker.
Oh, is he not? This is a totally different Joker?
He is only a producer.
Oh, okay.
The director of it is actually Todd Phillips, who did The Hangover.
Yes. Okay. Then oh, wow. No.
Yeah, it makes you even.
Very not interested.
It makes you. I think that Martin Scorsese maybe had the idea, and I bet you Martin Scorsese pitch was something like, it's Goodfellas with the Joker.
Right. Yeah, and he's like, and we'll come up with a whole new backstory for him, and it'll be this whole thing about the mob, and everyone was like,
yeah.
And DC's like, we got to sell action figures to this Joker guy. Like we can't just make a mob movie and make one of them paint their face.
Yeah.
We did that. It was called The Dark Knight.
Yeah. So this piece of news came out, and it was like kind of the biggest switcheroo I think in recent movie history, where they announced that Thomas Wayne was going to be in this movie, which I first of all was like, why is Thomas Wayne in this movie? But then they were like, Alec Baldwin is Thomas Wayne. And for a minute there, I was like, okay, you've sort of got me excited about this movie because Alec Baldwin was the Shadow. And for most of the 90s, I kind of thought he would have been a great Batman replacement.
You were totally right about that.
But then the next day, Alec Baldwin is not Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, and it wasn't like all the other comic book rumor newses where you get like, okay, this actor's I remember them teasing that Jason Statham was going to play Bullseye.
Oh, I remember that.
And then either his publicist screwed up or he was never involved, but you don't really know. There's no clear cut, I know what happened in that situation. And when it comes to a lot of rumors, it's like, oh, this actor's linked to it, and then the actor comes out and they're like, nope, I'm not. I have nothing to do with that movie.
This came off as they released the publicity press release before Alec Baldwin's publicity people or even Alec Baldwin's manager got to say yes to it or finalize the deal.
Mm-hmm. See, for me, it sounded like he definitely said yes, and then he either like read the script or he saw the buzz online and he went like, nah, never mind. But we do know he was definitely in some way related to it because Baldwin's quote is something like, I'm not doing that movie anymore.
Yeah.
Which I love him talking about it like the way that Bruce Campbell talks about Evil Dead sequels. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not doing those anymore.
I think he also said the statement of like, there's thousands of guys in Hollywood to play Thomas Wayne, which goes back to the question of this whole video. All right. There are some very interesting, and again, I don't mean to be the comic book guy, which I know the comments will put me as like, hello, the comics continuity and all that bullshit. If Joker is fully formed, if he's the Joker, and I guarantee you, there's no point in making a Joker movie if you don't have him in the makeup and laughing like a clown. There's no point to making this movie. Thomas Wayne is alive and the Joker is around. So where the hell before the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne does this movie take place?
Right.
And is Thomas Wayne, I mean, how big do you think Thomas Wayne's going to be a cameo in this movie? Or if they were casting Alec Baldwin, it seems like he had to at least be in a pretty good chunk of this movie.
Definitely. The fact that they were like doing, I mean, that being said, I mean, like, what was it? Jeffrey Dean Morgan played Thomas Wayne in the Batman.
I would love to see play Thomas Wayne again.
Well, and only if they were going to do like a Flashpoint Batman movie.
He says that at every convention he goes to now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing it. I will do it. Please make a Flashpoint Batman movie.
I don't blame him, man. Like, get those Batman royalties.
Well, yeah, like, why not? Like, knock yourself out. At this point, like, I'll take a Flashpoint Batman movie, and people go like, I don't understand. Like, shut up.
Can I give you an awesome pitch? And I think I might have said it on Elseworlds. And this pitch comes from a friend of mine, Mark Bernardin. He said it on his podcast, Fat Man on Batman. And I think it is the greatest pitch for basically, you were talking about why not at this point. Like, a lot of people are like, Joker movie, don't know. At this point, why not just go insane with the Joker movie? Because DC Universe, Film Universe has nothing to lose. Mark Bernardin's pitch to fix the DC shared universe, he doesn't even say to get rid of it.
No, just
he
fix
says,
it.
Do a straight up Crisis on Infinite Earths, but you simplify it. And he was like, you make it to where it's all about the 5 cinematic Batman. So he's like, so he's like, you don't cross over any other characters. He's like, only make it about the Batman. So he's like, so we get a CGI Adam West as Batman. We get Michael Keaton with the age makeup as Batman. We get either Val Kilmer or Clooney. You get Christian Bale and then Ben Affleck all in the same movie. And then he even said like, figure out like, dress somebody up as Batman 1,000,000 and have him voiced by Kevin Conroy.
Oh yes.
And then it's every Batman, and it's the Justice League with trying to save every Batman. And as soon as he said that, I was like, go for broke because you have nothing to lose right now.
No, it's true. I mean, like, first of all, I don't know if I want that. I mean, like, because I think I don't know how that could be. I don't know.
You know what? I would say I would want it just because it is the biggest problem that DC has right now. And sorry to interrupt you. Is that
no, please.
Is that they have no way to make themselves distinct from Marvel right now because they're the second place. But they do have this legacy, multiverse, if you will, of all these characters.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing like where everybody talked about like you want to make a Flash movie that'll impress everybody. Put Grant Gustin as the Flash meeting Ezra Miller with Flash.
Right.
Like that is something that DC can do that Marvel can't do right now. And I don't know how that movie would work. and
No.
and the storyline and the writing of that movie would be very difficult. But if
Yes.
they could pull it off, holy cow.
Oh, I think a crisis is a great idea. Like I don't get me wrong. Like I want to see some version of what you're talking about. Like I definitely want to see Michael Keaton in the bat, like not even in the bat suit, maybe in the bat cave, or maybe some kind of reference to him in some way. I mean, like I've seen like fan trailers and different like art depicting these concepts. My favorite one, I think it's an Alex Ross painting, but I don't know if that's true. But it's the one where it's Linda Carter Wonder Woman, Chris Reeve Superman, and Adam West or and Michael Keaton
It
Batman.
is Alex
All in,
Ross. Yeah.
so cool. It's
It's
like,
really
oh my
good.
god, what a missed opportunity
To
to
be
do
honest with you, I'm
that.
surprised that DC has not made that as like a digital series.
Yeah, there is like, I mean, they did cross over. What was it, Batman 66 and
And Wonder
Wonder Woman,
Woman.
right?
Yeah.
So where is the Chris Reeve Superman crossover with that?
Yeah, where is
Um,
the it's probably something to do with the likeness rights, but like can you like I would download the hell out of that DC
I don't know.
digital
Gary
content.
Frank
Yeah.
drew him. Like
Yeah.
he's in those Superman books. But yeah, but I would love to see a crisis, like just a
Mhm.
straight up like do it. Put Morgan or whatever his name. I got his name right and I don't remember it
Jeffrey
off the
Dean
top.
Morgan.
Thank you. Put
Yep.
Morgan in the Flashpoint Batman suit, but put Michael Keaton Batman in that. Bring in Melissa Benoist Supergirl. Like and
Yeah.
they don't have to play crucial roles. Just make it a big stupid.
All they need is
slap
one
fight.
scene. One
Yeah.
scene is all you need. Like it would take these people a day.
Right.
Pay them a day rate.
Yeah. That's. I mean, like for me, the crossover is like not only if you're gonna do a crossover, always go for broke. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna make an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Where is any other superhero you can put in that movie? Like if you're gonna make another Thor movie, put everyone in it. Like just make it as much. It's just because you can't lose with DC. You're already supplementing that movie. Put everybody in it.
Yeah.
Like, God, I was just with they shoot in Atlanta. Fly everybody from Defenders down for Atlanta. Put them in one scene. Like it doesn't. Why not? With Thomas Wayne in the Joker movie, my expectation is kind of similar, where it's like maybe it's a Joker in a Flashpoint universe, and they were like, oh no, we'll make Alec Baldwin into Flashpoint Batman, and it's like we're gonna throw away the Martha Wayne is the Joker Azarello plot, and instead just make it that there was a Joker in the universe.
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that. And you know what? And to be honest with you, a lot of people were talking about when these multiple Joker movies started popping up. They were talking about how can you do this? Like this is insane. This is crazy. And there was I don't know. I really think because DC has proved that they can't do this. I really think that DC should abandon the shared universe. And I don't mind there being more than one Joker. Like I don't mind if there's a Jared Leto, like if Jared Leto Joker shows up in Suicide Squad 2, which he probably will, and I don't mind there being a Joaquin Joker movie. My biggest problem with the Joker movie is that I just don't think the supporting character of the Joker can support a movie. I don't know what that movie is, and because us as an audience, we can't sympathize with the Joker.
Right. He's not a protagonist. He's an antagonist. And I'm not signing up for that. And I mean, there's a lot of people who would. You know, there's a lot of people who really like that idea, that want to see like a villain as the protagonist and enjoy that concept. I'm just not one of them.
I'm not
so
either.
Like, yeah, like I get that there is an audience. I'm not in that audience, and I don't know if by and large general audiences would be. So like they do, I think that they will do it because they think it prints money. But it's just, for me, a Joker movie, a solo Joker movie, is symptomatic of Warner's DC just not understanding what mistakes they've made and how to resolve their problems.
Well, I think they look at the Joker makes us money in Hot Topic, and let's print money with the Joker. And it's, I mean, and it's funny. I got asked a question on Instagram very recently where somebody said, like, what is a very unpopular opinion that you have? And the unpopular opinion I said was that the Joker is overrated.
Yeah,
and he's
I
find him boring now.
Right. Well, I don't think he's overrated as much as he's overextended and he's overexposed. Like we got too much Joker too fast. And I remember when Scott Snyder was talking about using the Joker and he's like, I really don't want to use him too much. Like I teased him in Black Mirror. I'm going to use him for this one story and then I'm probably not going to use him again for a couple of years.
And now he's using
like,
him in every story.
Every story he can possibly cram him into.
Yep. And now he's in Justice League.
And now he's in Justice League, which by the way, like it could be that like Snyder said that and DiDio was like, no, you're putting Joker in everything.
Yeah.
Or he was like, or he just likes writing him. He just enjoys playing with the character.
Yeah. Well, have you heard? I mean, I think we might have talked about this in Elseworlds. There was always that long story a long, long time ago about how in the early mid to 2000s somewhere, it was right before Chuck Dixon left, and they were pitching a Death of Joker storyline.
Really?
And it was when like Brian Azzarello was there or something like that. I've heard that the initial idea of this new Brian Azzarello Black Label Joker book came from this a long time ago. And it's the idea that the Batman writers apparently at the time went to the editors and they were like, we want to do this thing. We want to kill the Joker. We want to maybe make it seem like it's Batman, so there's that storyline there. But we want to take the Joker off the board for like 2 years. So that way when he comes back, we get another event out of it.
Totally. No, the Return of the Joker.
But nobody can use Joker for 2 years. And apparently the editorial staff or the big wigs, whoever was in charge at the time, were like, no, we can't take the Joker off the board that long.
I'd like to see the metrics in when we put Joker in a book, we see an X percentage in increased sales. I don't think it's that important. I would very much doubt it's that impressive. I pitched that actually. We recently did Under the Red Hood, and I was like, so then Jason Todd beats the Joker with a crowbar. And this is the part where he should have beat him to death and occupied the Joker's place, not like he dons a green makeup or whatever, just that he occupies the Joker's place in terms of like as Batman's greatest nemesis. Like your greatest rival created your greatest failure, and your greatest failure has now become your greatest rival. It's very cyclical, and like you kill the Joker, and the reason why I say kill the Joker off in Under the Red Hood is because you're never gonna kill him off forever. No. So But you've basically replaced him, so your audiences think he's definitely dead. He's not coming back. So that when you do bring him back, then you have time to come up with a killer story that brings him back, and B, when he comes back, it's even that much more meaningful and impactful, and you know, legit, and brings you the money. So like, I definitely agree that killing the Joker is number one, a great story concept. Number two, a great money making opportunity, and number three, a great way to fix the Joker in terms of like getting him to be less exposed, less overdone. Yeah, because there's too much Joker.
Yeah. Is there any way this Joker movie is any good?
No. I say no because there's no way that like they've really learned any lessons or done anything accurate, like, or not accurately, but like they've still not executed anything well.
No.
Everything has problems. I love Wonder Woman. It still has kind of like a clunky third act.
Yeah, but I will. So do many Marvel movies. So that's
indeed.
That is not that is a superhero genre problem, not just a Wonder Woman problem.
This is true. I will say, however, with every Marvel movie, at no point do I go, how much more is this movie going? Like,
I do that in a lot of Marvel movies, actually, to be honest with you.
That's funny. I don't.
A lot of Marvel movies. Yeah.
Thor: The Dark World was probably the one where I went like, you know, it'd save this movie if Iron Man showed up. Like,
I actually did that. I did that for Ant-Man and the Wasp. There were several times Ant-Man and the Wasp where I was like, "Are we done with this yet?
There was a moment.
When are we rescuing Janet? She's in the title."
Oh yeah, no. That was just missed opportunity. Like, no, you save her in the beginning, and then you make the movie about like Janet and Hank replacing Hope and Scott, and like the juxtaposition of like the old trying to like be young, you know, like it's just an interesting.
Yeah, she should have come back. She should have come back at least in the second act, so that we could spend the whole last act with her instead of the teaser in credit thing.
And it's like, what did you do that because Michelle Pfeiffer only wanted to be in the movie for like 20 minutes?
That might have been. There's a lot of production things we don't know, but like, it's interesting that you're talking about the clunky third act and looking at your watch and stuff like that. That actually is something that I find is inherent in superhero movies that just do the tried and true formula, because we all know it, right? We have the hero. There's some sort of problem, but there's a new villain who somehow is more impossible to beat than the last villain. We do a bunch of stuff. We run away from them. We say some jokes. We still have the end battle with that villain. And it's interesting that I found that the modern, because we are 20 Marvel movies deep. Yeah. We are over 15 DC movies, just if you count everything since like 2000. Like we're quite a ways there, you know, like I'm not saying in a shared universe, stuff like that.
No, just
we are so used to the superhero movie trope formula. And I find that the ones that break out of that, like I would say the Logans, the Infinity War, I would even say Deadpool broke out of it.
Big time.
Those are the ones that are interesting to me. But to me, if you just give me, I'm going to fight the supervillain, and then at the end I'm going to win in a big CGI fight, are we done yet? Like,
I agree.
I'm pretty certain that that's what Venom's going to be. And I'm
no doubt.
really worried that that's what Aquaman is going to be. That Aquaman's going to be, the entire movie is like people convincing him, you should be the king. You should be the king. He's like, no, I'm a surfer, bro. I don't want to be the king. And then eventually Ocean Master will take over and he'll be like, oh, crap, I got to be the king.
Yep. That is exactly what that movie will be. You're here. You know exactly what the formula is going to be. It's like, we're going to pretend Justice League didn't happen. It's going to be like,
they're not even going to talk about it, man.
Nope, he's just gonna be like, okay, so I want to be cool and like sleep with babes. He meets a character who teaches him how to be Aquaman. We get a training montage. The sage dies.
It'll be Volko, probably Willem Dafoe.
Yep, Willem Dafoe trains him. Then he dies, and then he's sad, and then he meets Mera, and he's resentful, and then she tells him he needs to be king, and he won't. And then the bad guys take over, and then he has to. Then he meets Mera again, and her love makes him, want to be the king. Like, the trailer is the coolest part of that movie. Like, I'm excited in terms of like, it'd be fun to watch people riding seahorses and shooting lasers out of like dolphins' eyes.
Yeah, the underwater aspect of it is the interesting aspect of it.
Yeah, as long as it's not impossible to see anything happening, like in Justice League, where it's like I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time. Like, but. Yeah, I mean, am I sick of the superhero formula? If I was, I wouldn't be reading comics. But I am also like, I like the idea of making something original. I don't like the idea of doing it in spite of something else. Like, I don't like the idea of them being like, we got to make a Joker movie because do we really want to do another Marvel movie? And it's like, well, who cares? Let them make their Marvel movies. You make whatever movies you want to make. If you have a Joker idea that's strong and you think it's going to sell, knock yourselves out.
Well, sure. The story should always be first. And it's interesting. It's interesting because the point you brought up about how if you were tired of the comic book trope, you would be read comic books. But I would counteract that with, because comic books are sort of a form of literature, they're allowed to be more different. Whereas Hollywood movies that cost $150 million are always like, they have to be pitched to executives who don't understand how stories work. So you have to walk into that room and they're like, okay, who's the villain? Who's the love interest? What's the second act turn?
Yeah,
and if you don't have all that, they tell you to get the hell out of the room.
Yeah, the pitch is this movie meets this movie equals this movie.
Yeah. Whereas comic books are allowed to be, I think, more different. Like we've just started seeing what I think is like the Dark Knight Returns of comic book movies, and the stuff like those examples. And I think that, I don't know, I was hoping that we were on a trend. Like I thought Logan and Deadpool and a couple of those other movies, and I even Wonder Woman to an aspect of it, that of it being a World War I superhero movie. Like they all had different tones, and I was like, ooh, let's go. I want to go down this route where the comic
no complaints about Wonder Woman. Like I think Wonder Woman looks fantastic and it's fun and I enjoyed it, and like they don't. I'm actually of an opinion that they should have like gone a little farther in terms of like cliches when it came to Wonder Woman, like dropping a few of them. Like, is there any reason for Wonder Woman to have slept with Steve Trevor?
That's a fair point, but that
you know what I mean? Like,
that really comes off as the Hollywood executive being like,
like, does she need to sleep with him?
Yeah.
Like, couldn't it just have been? And I'm not like trying to be a prude or anything. I mean, I'm just saying like, does it need to be this like big exchange, or can it just be that like she's this person who does these cool things, and it's like, and Steve means something to her without actually having to like teach her at the end of the day that like she really did need a dick. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, I don't know, just it felt a little weird.
I can see that,
and a little excited, not to get blue for your audience. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. I mean, if you haven't seen Wonder Woman by now, let's go. Real quick to everybody in the chat, I just want to say here really quickly, we're going to start taking some questions, but if you want to cut the line and do some super chats with Sal and me, that is highly recommended. You will cut the line, everything like that. It's funny, Sal, I know I sent you a bunch of comments or topics that we were going to talk about. I don't know where they are, so we're not going to talk about them.
Okay. I can pull them up if you like, but we could just move
you can?
But if you have something you want to go for.
Real quick, I have a Patreon question that a patron of mine asked both of us, and I wanted to hear your answer to it. This is from Martin Sanchez. He's our Patreon question of the week. He said, While it is unlikely that they ever will, if the CW were ever to introduce a Green Lantern on one of their shows, which Green Lantern do you think it should be, and what show do you think they should pop up on? Sal, do you have any opinions on this?
Yeah, Flash and Jon Stewart. Because Flash allows, well, Flash or Supergirl, but I don't really consider them different shows. Like, I think that, like, well, this is a whole thing about the CW thing where I'm like, why didn't they just merge universes with the Flash and Supergirl when they moved to CW? Like, why didn't you just merge the universes with a Crisis? Like, I don't understand that. But
because that would have been way too complicated, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, is it like just, you know, who survived, who didn't? You know, a couple of characters from the CW, from the Supergirl show, now they're there. I don't know. It just boom, they just move on. Especially because what's her name, Ally McBeal didn't want to be on the show. You know,
oh yeah, I can't remember. Calista Flockhart.
Thank you. Thank you. But you know, she didn't want to be on the show because she didn't want to move or something like that. So like, okay, yeah, then you don't have to do the whole business at all anymore. Like, but I think Flash would be fun. I think like I really kind of like see those two working together more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see Jon Stewart just because like I think he's a fun character. I think they don't like, then no one will expect Idris Elba to play him, and I don't have to hear that casting suggestion anymore. Because like every time anybody's like, oh, who should play this African American or cool black character, and it's like Idris Elba should play them, and it's like other actors.
Idris Elba being cast as every black character ever is akin to when Bryan Cranston was bald on Breaking Bad. He was cast as every bald character ever. That's why he was Lex Luthor forever. Although I will say this, I'm putting my stake in the sand. I would love to see an Idris Elba Bond movie.
Yeah. Oh, and I heard that's more likely than not, which is exciting. Yeah, I'm down.
Because I think everybody in the universe wants to see that movie. That's why.
Yeah. Well, why not? He's a great actor, and I love seeing him. I'm just saying, like, now there's an opportunity for like a cool, great like TV black actor to play Jon Stewart, and you can do some fun stuff with that. The problem is with CW, like he won't be able to do half the stuff that you want him to do.
Yeah. You know, if I were to pick, I would pick Legends of Tomorrow as the show, because they can hop through multiple timelines, and they've even done different realities and stuff like that. And I would say Kyle. I would go Kyle Rayner, because he's the younger kid. You could deal with him being the rookie. He's also the most imaginative. So like, I think, and it's funny. What I would do is I would cast a Latino actor as Kyle, because the fun fact that many people don't know about Kyle Rayner, I didn't even realize it until like much later after reading his adventures, is that he's half Hispanic, and I think that's really cool. And you know, so I would go full on, you know, leaning into it. Sorry, I got a text from somebody. I leaned down on the phone and ignored you all. Saturday morning, guys. It's all good. But yeah, I don't know. I think a younger Green Lantern would be interesting. Somebody in the comments said Guy Gardner. Spanish
I was
Heart
expecting the Guy Gardners.
Spanish Heart 18. He would work well on Legends of Tomorrow as well, because it's more of a humorous show and it's more of cantankerous. So like, imagine the scene of Guy Gardner coming in and telling Heatwave to screw off.
Oh, totally. Oh, he would be a great character if you're looking for a foil. If you're looking for somebody to be the obstacle, then you absolutely should cast Guy Gardner, because I think Jon Stewart lends himself to being like more stoic and more like militaristic and like more by the numbers, by the rules. You're also going to get less creativity from that, like, because he's the Green Lantern who makes constructs, but he doesn't like go like, I'm gonna make a cool mech suit, or I'm gonna make a thing that goes over your mouth because I don't want to listen to your conversation. Like, you know, it's just Guy versus Kyle. You have more creativity and more like story potential. With John, it's more like, I'm going to put a Green Lantern in the show. Like, for me, it's like, oh, you want to put Green Lantern on the show, and you don't want to make it Hal. Then,
Van F108 says, what type of Latino? Because Latino isn't a race. I apologize. A North American Hispanic person from North Hollywood, California. I don't know how much more specific I can get for you, because that's where he's from, and his father is Mexican. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if I offended anybody, so apologies. So there you go.
Of course.
Sal, since I have you on, brother, and we don't get to talk that often, I usually at this point, this is a different Saturday morning show. I have it all segmented up and stuff like that, but I just wanted to talk to you and enjoy some conversations.
Yeah, let's take it.
What do you, what comic books are you reading right now? What are you enjoying? Because usually I do recommendations for the next week, but I want to talk about, like, Anything out there that you're really digging that people should buy?
It's been slim pickings lately, I gotta tell you.
I agree.
Yeah, right? Like, it's weird, because it shouldn't be. But and there are things that people tell me I should be liking, which is always fun. But as far as, like, things that I'm reading that I think you should check out, I don't know if I have many recommendations that you don't already have.
Can I give you one?
Yeah, please.
I started reading The Ice Cream Man from
Oh,
Image.
I've heard good things about that.
It's like 6 issues. It's a horror series that's sort of an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And it is basically each issue is a different thing, but there is this very strange and very horrific ice cream man that somehow gets himself involved in the stories. It reminds me of kind of early 90s Hellblazer and early 90s Swamp Thing and Sandman, like that type of thing of, like, you're going to read an issue, you're probably going to be really creeped out. Mm-hmm. There are some insanely creepy issues.
Cool.
And just to give you a little taste of it, I think it's the 5th issue. It's either the 5th issue or the 6th issue. A man in this town goes up to the ice cream man, buys an ice cream cone. And then for the rest of the issue, you see after he leaves the ice cream truck, in one reality he goes straight, in one reality he goes left, and one reality he goes right. And in one of them he finds a dog, in one of them he meets a girl, and in the other one, very horrific things happen. And so and that's the whole issue. It's about this dude, and it's very interesting. So even this is me personally for you, Sal. I don't know how much you are into horror comics, but Ice Cream Man is great.
Nice.
And the first trade is out now.
I appreciate that my Tiffany loves horror comics and horror in general. She's a big aficionado. So she's been recommended that book. I'm gonna tell her it's got your seal of approval, though.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. I did not expect to like it as much as I did.
Apropos of that comment, I will say there is a book that I am really enjoying, and not for the reasons that you might expect. It is from the big two. Mm-hmm. It's Death of Inhumans.
Oh, I have not read that one.
I really like it.
Really?
And
do you
not
like it just because it's showing it to the Inhumans?
Right, because I hate the Inhumans so much. It actually makes me feel bad for them. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, man, if the Inhumans were like this, if Inhumans books were written like this, I would have been a big Inhumans fan.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I'm loving it. It's Donny Cates,
which
is
Donny
like
Cates, right?
So it's 2/3 of comics. But it's also like it plays to his strengths. He really plays it up with, like, the narration and with the characterization, and he's not afraid to pull punches, and clearly he just got a blank check, like, kill everyone or kill anyone.
Oh, you can kind of tell that miniseries is Marvel being like, well, we tried to make the Inhumans a thing and it didn't work.
Yep, it didn't work, and we got X-Men back, so make them go away.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, in the Avengers book where they killed all the Eternals off panel, and I'm like, the Eternals, okay, cool.
Yeah, but who likes the Eternals, my friend?
I mean, I don't know anyone who likes the Eternals.
I'm
sure that
right.
Like, your comments will be filled with all the fans of the Eternals, but, like, when it comes to putting your money where your mouth is, Neil Gaiman wrote an Eternals miniseries during
it's not bad.
Probably the height of Marvel's, like, comics popularity, and it did not sell very well.
It was John Romita Jr., right?
Yeah, it was John Romita Jr.
Yeah,
and like,
I remember, I read that series.
So I bought every issue, and I'm like, by the way, those covers, not by Romita, are fantastic.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I found it pretty boring, but, like,
yeah.
That's every Eternals book for me. So it's like, okay, well,
I want to ask you a question, and I want spoilers for this. Somebody in the chat, Spanish Heart 18, said, "Did they kill off Lockjaw?" I love Lockjaw as well. I have a stuffed Lockjaw. I want full-on spoilers. Is Lockjaw dead?
Yeah.
What? They killed the dog?
First issue. They kill Lockjaw and Maximus in the same moment.
No.
Yep. And it's really sad.
Yep.
Because he doesn't just, like, it's not like a mercy killing. Like, they teleport parts of him away from himself. So it's like,
that's pretty.
He dies screaming. It's real bad.
All right, I'm sad. I'm gonna go hug my Lockjaw. And
also,
if any of you yelling spoilers, if you're going to yell spoilers at the point of watching this video, like, it's the dog.
Yeah.
How important is he to the overall Marvel universe?
He's the Batmobile of the Inhumans.
Exactly.
Like,
he's the elevator.
yeah, he transports the Inhumans. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
But yeah, you inspired me to get the Lockjaw plush, by the way, because Lockjaw and Black Bolt are my favorite, and Medusa are my favorite Inhumans.
I think aren't they everybody's favorite Inhumans? Does anybody like Gorgon?
I hate Gorgon. I think he's stupid.
He has hooves.
He has hooves and he makes earthquakes with his feet. He's the one I point at whenever I'm like, the Inhumans are dumb. Take Gorgon, for example.
I will tell you this. So I do really like there is a Inhumans miniseries by Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee.
Yes.
And it's 12 issues, and I have the like super duper hardcover they made a couple years back, and it was through Marvel Knights. I think that miniseries is great, and it's probably the best Inhuman story ever.
Easily, you're not wrong. No, like it's for me, it's the Jenkins series, and I think the Death of Inhumans. But I'll be honest, I was avoiding a lot of Inhumans books, so it's like everyone's gonna tell me that Charles Soule wrote like the greatest Inhuman story of all time. I'm like, well, I missed it. I'm.
I've always been a big fan of the Inhumans because my secret love is Fantastic Four. Well, not really secret, but my big love of the Marvel Universe is Fantastic Four, and I love the Inhumans. But I think at the end of the day, I like the Inhumans when they just show up for a story or they show up as a Deus Ex Machina.
Yep.
And mostly, I think I like them because they're just so well designed.
Yeah, they look great, and I like that they are kind of like, and then the Inhumans showed up, and you're like, okay, that's kind of like these creepy outsiders that just like pop in and they go like, is something big going on? And you go, no, Inhumans, and they go, oh, okay, and they go back to their secret hidden city. Like they don't need to be the stars of any book.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do like that they're there. Like because as a Marvel person, like I love the menagerie of the Marvel Universe, the big beautiful quilt that is the Marvel Universe. Like every element, you take out a piece, the whole thing comes apart. Like I like that the Inhumans are an element of the Marvel Universe. I just don't necessarily want to read about them all the time.
Yeah, agreed.
But their death is fantastic. And if you're also an old school like 90s Marvel fan, there's a new villain who was engineered by the Kree to kill all the Inhumans named Vox. And he is
VOX?
straight up VOX.
Okay.
And he is straight up the Earth X Black Bolt redesign by Alex Ross.
Okay. So that's interesting because I remember Donny Cates sharing that on Twitter, and I'm the guy. I like Earth X. I don't like the stupid Heaven X, Paradise X,
and Universe
Spirit Guide X. I hate that crap when they make Heaven stupid. But
Me too.
Earth X, there's a lot of problems with it. But I generally enjoy Earth X. I still have that original trade that I bought. And when I saw that picture of Donny Cates, I was like, yeah, that's Alex Ross Black Bolt. What the hell?
Yep. Straight up easy.
But they own the design already, so I understand.
Yep. But then
And he's called Vox?
And he's called Vox.
That's an interesting turn to Black Bolt. All right.
Agreed. So that's evil Black Bolt. And
is there a secret about like who is Vox and stuff like that?
Yeah, you don't know who Vox is.
Is there? Do you know the reveal?
No, they haven't revealed.
Okay. I was going to ask whether you thought the reveal was like paid off well.
No, I think it's implied that he is basically because like this displaced like expedition of it's Wrath of Khan. They find where it's like a race of supermen were dormant and then they wake up and they don't like the universe so they want to change it. It's that, but it's Kree, and they're like, hey, how come the Kree are all a bunch of pussies now? So they go like, I'm gonna kill everything, and they're like, hey, and how come the Inhumans are running rampant? Like they're an experiment that failed. So like these new Kree take over, they kill everybody, and they take the Empire, and now the Kree are bad, and they're like, kill the Inhumans. And so the implication is that they engineered Vox in a similar way to the way they made the Inhumans in the first place.
But he's going to be somebody. Like
there's no way he's not.
There's no doubt that they're going to do, and he's going to be either Maximus's secret son or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's got to be. Yeah. By the way, if you ever get a chance, just look up some big images of Vox, and you'll go and then look next to him of the Earth X Black Bolt. You're like, come on! Like because they redesigned the tuning fork on his forehead for Earth X.
Mm-hmm.
They used the exact same redesign, but they flipped it upside down.
Well, I actually don't. I don't have a problem with that because
It's great.
I understand the initial like, hey, but again, all of this comics work is work for hire.
Right, and it's up for grabs.
And it is a cool design. It is a cool design.
Admittedly, yeah.
And it's been sitting on a shelf for 15 years. It's the same thing as when I really liked it when DC gave Tim Drake the Red Robin costume. Because I like the Red Robin costume, and I was like, yeah, that's a great design that's just been sitting there for 20 years and nobody did anything with it.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't mind that. You know, and Earth X isn't the massive popular story. It'd be another thing of like, it's very similar to when Jeff Johns was doing his second JSA run. He started making Alex Scott look like the Kingdom Come Green Lantern for no reason. And they never explained why Alan Scott suddenly just started wearing armor. They never explained it. And that was where I have a problem with it, where I'm just like, well, there's no reason for that character to look like that. What? Or at least Vox being a new character, you're just like, okay, we've never met this guy. It's a great design. Yep. All right, I understand.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. It's more like no one has said, like, when people go like, hey, how come it's just Earth X? They don't go like, because it's a cool costume, we own it. They just ignore it. And I'm like, right on, okay. Like, they're kind of like pretending like they didn't, like.
Yeah, you're right. They should have, Donny Cates should actually come out and be like, look, I love Earth X. I love this design.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, and I thought it'd be really cool if we used it.
Unless,
as opposed to just being like, we took a lot of effort and we really like worked on this really new design and we were like, yeah. I'm like, no, you didn't. You just took this idea and
Marvel is crazy. Is there any chance Vox is the Earth X Black Bolt?
That's my hope. My hope is that like the reason why they're being mum about it is because they're like, no, we're going to establish he's like the last survivor of the Earth X.
He's future Black Bolt.
Yeah, he's future Black Bolt. And that would be freaking awesome.
So you've read the story. If that's the reveal, are you okay with it?
Totally.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't even have to be Earth X Black Bolt. Vox does something awesome to disable Black Bolt, and it'd be really cool if we have this moment. I'm trying to remember what the hell I'm actually referencing, but like there's a moment where basically where Black Bolt kills Vox and Vox's helmet comes off and it's just Black Bolt's face. It's not Empire. I know what you're thinking, but like,
and then he screams out loud.
He's like, but he goes, oh, that's me. Like, oh, I become him. So one day I'm going to go back in time and kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fine. You want to do that? That's really cool. Like,
that I would be down for that. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't expect to walk away from this live stream being like, you know what, I might read Death of Inhumans.
And by the way, not much of a commitment. If you read, it's 2 issues right now. So like you read the first 2, if you're like, this sucks and Sal was wrong, just don't read the next 5.
You know, it's funny. I have been reading another Marvel event and I dig it. And it's called Extermination.
Yes, I am also digging Extermination.
And I'm going to get some spoilers out there because I don't care, because it stars a young, sexy Cable, and I'm all about everything Cable. And I hate the time-displaced X-Men. So the fact that young, sexy Cable, a character that I like, who I'm secretly calling X-Man in my head because X-Man is better.
He's got to be Nate Gray.
He's totally Nate Gray. Is like, I'm going to bitch slap all these time-displaced X-Men. Is like, this is like, it's comic book sugar for me.
No, I love it. If his goal, because it's just he's collecting the O5 and he's just sticking him into stasis pods. If he's like, no, you see, the thing was you were supposed to go back immediately because Beast is a moron, and you've been here for a couple of years and you refuse to go back in time. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna get all you in one place. I'm gonna open a portal. I'm gonna kick your asses back.
Yeah, I'm gonna force you back into the portal. And it to be honest with you, it seems like this is going to be the event that's going to do that, because
I think so.
In the Uncanny X-Men giant picture, they're not there. It's funny. I really think Jonathan Hickman's writing Uncanny X-Men.
You're not alone in that theory. I think Jonathan Hickman makes too much sense. I think that Marvel is like, I think Marvel's like, no, man, it'll probably be Jason Aaron or Johnny Cates or somebody else that we have in the roster. Like, I think that it makes sense for Jonathan Hickman to do it if Jonathan Hickman has a friggin' amazing 5-year-long pitch, and if it'll work if. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I think Extermination is dovetailing into another X-Men event.
Well, it's the it's Uncanny X-Men going weekly, which is I feel like they're doing is Avengers No Surrender, because they did Avengers No Surrender, which I enjoyed, and then they gave it to Jason Aaron. So I think they're going to do the same thing with Uncanny X-Men, and then it's Hickman.
Yes, and that works. I mean, like, first of all, getting rid of the O5, so you're like, okay, now it's the X-Men, and we're bringing back Wolverine, so he's there, and we're going to kill Old Man Logan, and he's going to go away, so it's just the X-Men again.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Scott Summers comes back somehow, too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't he? We already brought him back during the Phoenix miniseries. He came back for a few seconds, was like, oh my God, I'm back to life, and then they killed him again. But, like, so it's established you can just easily do that with the blink of an eye, and no one will complain. So you bring everybody back. Now that Marvel Studios has the rights back, or has the rights, not even back, they didn't have them in the first place. It's more like now that Marvel Studios can make X-Men movies, Marvel is free to do whatever they want with the X-Men. And I think the plan is, and I don't know if plan is really that strong of a word. I don't think they would expect to be that. It's not necessarily even a plan, but the idea being that they're like, Marvel never sold better than when the X-Men were the front face of Marvel.
100%.
So we're going to make X-Men the most important thing in the Marvel Universe. Everything they do will impact the Marvel Universe and be like, it'll be like the old days where like there were 20 X books and there was always an X-Men character that like showed up in someone else's book,
and every X-Men event was just like slapped you across the face.
Oh yeah, and every X-Men event was like, oh my God,
Yep.
It's just the biggest, bestest thing ever. And who better to play a 5-year long game than Jonathan Hickman?
Agreed. I also think that they had to have given him something decent and big to grab him away from DC, because he was going to roll over there for a while.
Yeah,
and
until
then
they
that didn't
pissed
happen.
him off.
So, all right, man. Sal, this was awesome. Again, don't forget about the Patreon after show. It's over on, see if that graphic is not, no, that's not the graphic. There you go, patreon.com/Jawiin. We're going to have an immediate after show where Sal and I are going to be answering Patreon questions on Patreon that for only the patrons. All it takes is $1. $1, everybody. $1.
Wow,
if you love this show, if we got you $1 of value, then get your ass over there. Sal, you do lots of stuff on YouTube. You have so many great shows. You're just a genuinely nice person. Where can they find you?
You can find us over at youtube.com/comicpop.
And that link is in the description of this very video. So all you have to do is scroll down. Scroll down. Don't be lazy.
I'm looking at it right now.
Scroll down. You go look at it right now. It's right there. Jesus.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Find it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Saturday morning show will be happening every Saturday unless something busy happens up. I would love to have Sal, and as a regular rotation, I'm going to try to bring in some more guests, trying some new things. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, follow the channel. I don't know, man. It's Saturday morning. This is so loosey-goosey. I don't care. Thank you guys for watching. That's all I got to say. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking around, the changes in the channel. And Sal, thank you for bringing me the sad news about Lockjaw.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. But
all right.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great Saturday morning.